Hey guys, welcome back. So we're here in the fourth video, and like I said before, we're going to be looking at the two different variations of this system.out.print statement. We're also going to look at what escape characters do for us. So first things first, we need to actually look in a little bit more detail as to what the system.out.print statement does. And a good way to do this is actually to put another one after it. So we'll do system.out.print again. Make sure you spell print correctly. And this time we're going to do something a little bit more dark, a little bit more morbid. We're going to say goodbye world. Okay. And of course we're going to compile this. And then we're going to run it. So as you can see down here, we have hello world and we have goodbye world. We don't have a space between them and they're all on the same line. If we look up at our coding here, we actually have two separate lines of code that produce one line of text. Okay, this is what we call a logic error in programming. Syntactically, it's all fine. The program compiles, the compiler understands what each line of code does, and it does it. And the computer makes perfect mistakes, if you'd like to think about that, because this isn't what we intended to be printed on the screen. If we look up here, we have two lines of code, and so we should probably expect two lines of text down here. But being humans, we're actually the stupid ones here. We're the ones who made the mistake here. Okay? And so that's why this is a logic error, not a syntax error. If it was a syntax error, it wouldn't even compile and it wouldn't run, and we'd have to go back and maybe we missed a parenthesis or a bracer or something like that, and we'd have to fix it. Okay. So the line of code, or the change that we'd have to make to this system.out.print statement is actually quite simple. We just need to add the word or the phrase line at the end here, but programmers were lazy, so line just becomes ln. Okay, so now if we compile this and run it, we're going to see right here we have hello world on one line and goodbye world on another line. So the difference between a system.out.print line and a system.out.print statement up here is a print line is going to print whatever is inside the parentheses here, and then it's going to start a new line and continue going on with the programming. Okay, whereas the system.out.print will just print what's inside the parentheses, and that's it. It won't continue. It won't start a new line. So that's just something to keep in mind. And a lot of this will just boil down to, for example, formatting, how you want things to be displayed. And in the early forms of programming, you're actually going to be using system out statements and your run IO for all your programming. You're not going to use GUIs or anything like that. You'll probably do a little bit of stuff with applets and dialog boxes, text boxes, etc. But you won't do that until much later on. In fact, all your codes are going to be using the run IO, and they're going to be printing out messages down here. So the difference between a print line and a print are going to be more and more important as you get into more and more complicated codes, and you need things to be presented in a logical manner and format. Okay, so we're going to get rid of our morbid goodbye world there. We'll compile and we'll run this to see what we got here. Okay, so as you can see, we have hello world with a new line underneath. Now we're going to look at escape characters. Escape characters do one of two things. They either add functionality to a character or remove functionality to a character. Okay. What I mean by adding and removing functionality, so as we know, inside a print statement, you need to have your parentheses here, and you need to have your double quotes on either side of a string to print that. If you didn't have the second quote, as you can see, the remainder of the line turns green. It thinks that you're still trying to write something, and it's still accepting stuff as a string. Now obviously this won't compile because we haven't closed the parentheses and we haven't ended that line of code with the semicolon. So that's a problem. But if we put the backslash here, you can see we also get the same result. This is an example of Java removing functionality from a character. So what this has done is it has moved along, again moving from left to right, open parentheses, open quote, hello world, and it sees the escape character, So it says, alright, so I know that what comes next, I'm going to have to do something special with it. And for a double quote, when it sees a double quote, it's removing the functionality of the double quote. And what that is going to do is if we go ahead and then close that string with it, so you can see, oh, there should be a string inside there. Well, no, we've removed the functionality from that, the second double quote in that line, and the third double quote is actually what closes it. So if we compile and run this now, you're going to see that we have double quotes floating on the end of our string here. Oh, okay, so that's pretty neat. That's a way to remove functionality. But what if we want to add functionality? What if we want hello and world to be on separate lines, but we only wanted to do it in one line of code? Well, we can do that as well. Again, we're going to start with the backslash, and we're going to type n. This is an escape character that tells Java inside a string that we want a new line. And this, again, is helpful for formatting. So let's see what happens when we compile and run this. So there you go. We have hello and we have world on a new line. Alright, well let's add one more then. So say we want world not only on a new line below hello, but we want it tabbed over by one tab space. Well, we can also do that by, again, using the escape character key, backslash, and T for tab. So let's tab. Let's compile and print that. And there you go. So we have hello and world. World is on a new line, and it's tabbed over by one tab. We'll go ahead and get rid of both of those escape characters. Compile and run. And we're back to where we started, hello world. So escape characters can be used for many different things. Again, it's more of a formatting thing, how you want to display these messages. So if we want hello world, for example, to be completely wrapped in quotes, we need to give each set of quotes, an escape character. Otherwise, if we don't, when Java sees that double quote, it's going to assume that either a string has been opened or a string has been closed. So now when we have these two escape character statements, Java knows to ignore the functionality that it normally assigns with a double quote. So we'll go ahead and compile and print that again and see what we get. And look, now we have hello world inside double quotes. So that's where escape characters come in. You're only really going to be using them in 1101 for system out statements. And it's mostly up to your discretion when and where to use them. The more important lesson to take away from today would be the difference between a print and a print line statement. The next video, what we're going to do is we're going to look actually at creating variables, assigning variables value, and possibly putting a variable inside of a print statement. Okay, so for the time being, why don't you go and open up your compiler and create, say, your own hello world and try messing around a little bit with escape characters and see if you can find other escape characters that'll work. Until then, yeah, have fun.